Hey, hey, hey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ellacec Publishing Live. I am author Teresa Banks, and it is a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you to those that are tuned in right now and watching me live. And thank you to those of you that will check things out later by way of playing back the recording out there on YouTube or on Facebook. I am so happy to be here and speaking on a particular subject. Let me go ahead and place the topic here across the screen. I'm going to talk today about book publishing, how to overcome writer's block. Now, listen, let me tell you, I have talked to a number of different writers, and sometimes they can be in one of two different places. They might be in the type of place where they desire to start working on a particular manuscript, right? But they can't even get going. And you have the type of writers, at least the ones that I've spoken with, where they have began working on a manuscript and maybe they're in, let's say, for example, chapter 3, or they might be at chapter 4 or 5, and they are stuck. They are stuck in a position and they don't know how to even move that work forward. And needless to say, if you're under any of those two scenarios that I just painted, either stuck where you can't proceed or stuck where you've at least began, but you can't continue, that's considered a stage of writer's block. And so I'm going to get into it and to talk more about how you can get over that hump, if you will. Now, before I jump right into things, let me first ask that all of you, if you have not done so already, please go to the Ellacec Publishing Facebook page. Like, share, and follow the page. And out there on YouTube, if you would, please subscribe to the Ellacec Publishing YouTube channel and press that notification button. In doing so, you will know exactly when I'm right here and when I'm live. And that's great because if you have questions, you can go ahead and ask them, and I would be able to assist you right on the spot. Or, of course, you can let me know later. I'll help you later. But live, to me, anyway, is great because you can communicate. Again, I'd love for this to be our community, a community of writers and authors and publishers that are assisting one another, that are sharing knowledge that we have gained, not just, of course, what I have gained myself that I'm looking to share with all of you, but you may want to chime in. And so feel free, either during the course of the live stream or certainly afterward, if you have something that you want to talk about and to add to the conversation, you're welcome to put it right within the chat, either on YouTube or on Facebook. Now, with that said, every time I am live, I'll always have an agenda. It's just a part of my forte. I love order. I am a woman, certainly, of order. And I will bring up something that I call the purple board. And so let me do that right now. I'll bring the purple board right here up on the screen. And it will list out 4 different topics that I am going to speak on today, being creativity, about writer's block, overcoming writer's block, and then I'm going to do something I consider to be fun. I'm going to give you a writer's block example. And with that example, I'm going to serve as an individual in a position as if I myself am stuck and struggling with writer's block. And then I'm going to demonstrate right here live on the spot how I'm going to work myself out of that writer's block situation using the very techniques that I've talked about here. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss that. Now, let me go ahead. When I do live streams and I am talking, I like to just jump right into the subject matter. I don't want to be like halfway into the program's time and then you start hearing about what the subject matter is. I like to always jump in, and I'm going to do that right now, beginning with that first topic, first segment, if you will, called creativity. Now, it's important to be creative, obviously, when we are working on our manuscripts. And with creativity, it needs to be able to flow and move. And when it can't, and sometimes like this by way of the animation, writer's block. It gets in our way. It stops us from being creative. And creativity is the ability to produce or use original and unusual ideas or to make something new or imaginative. I remember, for example, being as a little girl, using my imagination growing up on 47th Street in Chicago, right up the street from the Met Theater, and also right up the street from Operation Push's national headquarters, that was also known as the Dr. King Workshop. And back during those days, we were kind of pinching pennies a little bit. Money was tight. But my sister Althea and I, as we were growing up together, we had these cute little Barbie dolls, and we dreamed of the different things we wanted our dolls to have, like a Barbie dream house, like a Barbie sports car, and all these different accessories that Barbie had back in the day as she was living her little plastic life, if you will. Well, we didn't have that, but we had our imagination. And when our Tide box would run out of detergent, we would rip the paper from all around the box, right? And we would take markers and we would draw in windows and we would draw in little doors and we would have scissors and we would cut out those spaces so that our windows and doors and all that could open. And needless to say, our dolls could have a place to stay, a doll house. And then we would draw to make it look even more realistic. Well, in further being creative as a young girl, I subscribed to Write On magazine. I had pen pals all over the world. Also, as a teenager, I was further creative, subscribing to Archie Comics, and I was one of their Archie Club News reporters. There was a time I won second place, a $4 prize, having submitted 2 paragraphs that were published. And also, as a teen, as a lot of teens did, I had a diary and I would write within that diary, being creative and using my imagination. And so, needless to say, again, with creativity, it has to move. It has to be able to flow so we can write our manuscript. And when we have written that manuscript and we have put that work out there, we are looking to make sure that we can reach our target audience. We have our thoughts out of our minds, out of our heads, and out there into the public so they can read it and they can take it on and take in what it is that we have to share. And so I've just jumped into what creativity is. And regardless of the type of genre that you are writing in, you're going to more than likely be using some levels of creativity. But let me jump more into writer's block, specifically what it isn't, and also what it is. I'll distinguish between those two. Well, writer's block isn't knowing what to write about. If you know, like, for example, the type of people that you would want in your work, and if you know the different kind of places that you may want those people to go in your manuscript and also the things they'll be doing, chances are great, at least at that point in time, you're not dealing with a writer's block type of situation. Writer's block isn't lacking story ideas. You may have, especially in the middle of the night, if you're like me, ideas that are just popping out of nowhere, sometimes to the point where you may wake up in the middle of the night and you're writing on a Post-it to make note of those ideas. You may not at that time be dealing with writer's block. Writer's block isn't being without a vivid imagination, where you can come up with all different types of story ideas for characters and the different things that are happening. If you can do that, you may not at that time be dealing with writer's block. But writer's block is being unable to think about what to write or proceed with writing, as I mentioned earlier before I began to speak on this segment. So what's the goal then? As we see here from this animation, the goal is to remove writer's block out of our way. And again, get to that place where we can move our manuscript forward and ultimately, again, be able to hand it off to whomever our reader or readers are. We don't want to be in that stuck place. Now, if any of you have ever dealt with writer's block, I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know within the chat, whether you're watching by way of YouTube or whether you're watching by way of Facebook, the Ellacec Publishing Facebook page, or my personal Teresa Banks Facebook page. Let me know in the chat. Have you ever dealt with a writer's block situation, or are you one who just has a ton of ideas? They're constantly flowing, constantly coming to you, and you're able, therefore, to just write and write or type and type. Let me know. Let me know there within the chat. I'd love to hear the state that you've been in, either past or present. Now, with that said, let's say that you are one who is stuck, either stuck in the place where you can't even start, or stuck in the place where you have began a great work of your manuscript, but you can't move it forward. Because why? You are stopped in that place where you can't continue your work. I'm now going to give you some ideas and suggestions on how you can overcome writer's block, which of course is the meat and the potatoes of why I'm even here today and talking about this particular subject matter. Overcoming writer's block. We're trying to get over that hurdle. We're in writer's block, but we're trying to get back to creativity or get to creativity. And there are 5 ways I'm now going to talk about how you can do that. First, you need to clear your mind. We must have a clear mind to get our work going on. We have so much on our mind, like our work concerns, outstanding bills. Who doesn't have outstanding bills that may be on their mind? Single tasks to do or married tasks to do. Maybe childcare or caregiving support that you have to offer to a family member or a friend, and world issues, right? We have so much that we're hearing in the world, a hodgepodge of stuff attacking our brain on any given day. And we need a clear mind, maybe by way of exercise, maybe to meditate, maybe doing some yoga moves in order to get back to that place where we can work on our fiction or work on our nonfiction or work on our poetry or work on our drama. So focus on clearing your mind so that you can keep pressing forward with your work. The second thing you can do to overcome writer's block is to create an outline. Mallory Blackman once said, you need time to think about your ideas and let them marinate. And I certainly agree with her. With an outline, we have our working title, an introduction, a body, and conclusion. And it helps us to focus, right? To become laser focused on what it is we want to do with that manuscript. And also it serves as a guide to keep us pressing on and moving forward with the development of that manuscript. So absolutely consider a guide to overcome that state of writer's block. The third thing you can do, which is an important thing, which is to change your scenery, just moving room to room or leaving your home altogether. Back to Mallory Blackman, she once said, recharge your creative batteries. And I love that and certainly agree with it. When you're out and about, though, pay attention. Look at this scene here, for example. Listen to the sound when you're out, because within your manuscript, you may want to describe that. Examine outfits that people are wearing, literally from head to toe, so that you can describe those as well. And then also note different things that you're seeing, like in this scene, the umbrellas that are overhead, person seating near the ground, boots that were on a table, a car on the side of the street here, people on their cell phone, and watch different actions. How are people congregating? Again, that will help you later in pulling your manuscript together and moving forward from that writer's block position. Now, the fourth thing that you want to consider if you're stuck in writer's block state is to ask AI, artificial intelligence, for just a little help. Not a lot of help, but a little help. We don't want AI to become our brain. Now, ChatGPT is certainly a tool that you can use when you go to the site. It'll say, what can I help with? And maybe you can type in something as the example that I have here. Give me some ideas on how to describe blue toenail polish. Once you've put in something, you press that up arrow and it will scroll up with a result. And whatever it scrolls up with, use that as just an example. Don't just grab the wording and use it verbatim in regards to your manuscript. Again, we don't want it to be our brain. We're just looking for suggestions and looking for ideas. And then last but not least, to overcome writer's block, consider writing using your style, not someone else's. Maybe, for example, you want to set up a writing time. It could be sometime in the morning or sometime in the afternoon or sometime in the evening. Maybe you're the type of person who likes to write, oh, so many words per day, like 3,000 words a day, or so many pages a day, like 5 pages, for example. That might be your particular style. You could write information for one scene or one character. Maybe that is your particular style, as opposed to trying to focus on the entire book. Just think about a little portion and work on that little portion. Maybe you're like me. This is my style here: ignoring perfection, performing like a brain dump as far as my manuscript is concerned, and writing and writing and writing and writing and writing and writing, just getting it all out. And then later, I can go back and do the editing. Or maybe this is your type of style, to just leave it and return to it later. You can certainly be that type of individual that says that you need to part with the work for just a minute and then come back to it. And after you have returned to it, you will have a clearer mind, some fresh new ideas to work with and to put down as far as your manuscript is concerned. And then you'll be in a place where you can move it forward. And so think about these three things that I just spoke on: creativity and the importance of creativity, getting things focused and directed. I then talked about what writer's block isn't and what writer's block is. And now I've just provided you with 5 different things that you can try, either 1 or 2 or 3, or maybe all 5, if you are stuck in a writer's block position, to dig yourself out of that hole, if you will, in order to be able to move your manuscript on. And now I'm going to take a short break. After the break, I will come back and I will use myself as an example of someone stuck in a writer's block place. And I will show you, by way of the different things I've talked about, I'll use some of those things, I'll model them to get myself out of a writer's block state. Please stay with me. I'll be right back after the break to talk about that last segment. I'll be right back. Hello, everyone. This is author Teresa Banks, and I'm here to tell you that the Ellacec Publishing website has a lot to offer. You can purchase all 5 of my books, including my 3 works of nonfiction: Becoming a Published Author, I've Got a Testimony, and Surviving a Layoff. My 2 works of fiction are also available for sale from the website. Those include Parenthood and Woman of Integrity. There are 5 different classes that I teach online, and you can register to attend those classes by way of the website. Those virtual classes include Surviving a Layoff, Zoom, PowerPoint, Book Marketing and Promoting, and Becoming a Published Author. You can purchase a video ad that will contain the content that you provide after you've made your purchase, and it'll be similar to the type of advertisement that you see by way of this particular video now. You can also buy jewelry that I've handcrafted myself, and you can purchase an I've Got a Testimony t-shirt. Go to the ellacecpublishing.com website today to make your purchase of any or all of the items that you see displayed here on the screen. You can also reach the website using the QR code located on the left-hand side of the screen. Thank you in advance for shopping at Ellacec Publishing. All right, everyone. Hello and welcome back. I am author Teresa Banks, and I have been speaking about the subject matter of book publishing how to overcome writer's block. And I tell you, writer's block is definitely a scary place to be in when you are trying to pull a manuscript together and you become in a place where you just can't for one reason or another. Before the break, I talked about creativity and then I spoke on what writer's block isn't and what it is. And I gave 5 different suggestions on how you should be able to overcome writer's block. And I'd appreciate you letting me know if you have used any of the 5 and if they did indeed work for you or within the chat. Again, this is our community. This is our place to share. If you have a different technique that has worked for you before, let us all know. Place that within the chat, and I would appreciate seeing your input as well. Now, I'm going to bring the purple board back up here and let's see where we left off. I covered all of the 3 items that you see across the top, those 3 topics by way of the first 3 segments that I spoke on before the break. And now it is time to get into this writer's block example. Now, again, I'm pretending that I'm stuck, that there is this work, this manuscript that I myself want to pull off and want to put out there, but I don't know how to move it forward. I'm again in this place of struggle myself. So let's see how I'm going to work myself out of this particular position. Come on, all of you join me for the ride of this writer's block example. So let's say I'm using a spiral notebook, right? And I just jot down that I want to write a children's book about fruit, but I'm stuck. Literally, it may feel like my head is spinning as I try to come up with how to press on with this particular work. And so what I'm going to do is use the outline type of way of overcoming writer's block. That was something I suggested, right? And let's say within my outline, I'm going to first just note my target audience being kids, 1st through 3rd graders, about 6 to 9 years old. Again, I'm writing about fruit, various types of fruit. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. And then with 3 and 4, my layout and resources, I'll just put TBD for right now, standing for to be determined. I'll work all that out later as I go through this process of getting out of writer's block. So let's say I change my scenery. Remember, that was another one of my suggestions, and I pop into a grocery store to get some ideas. And those ideas are starting to come up in my mind as I'm going up and down, for example, a grocery food aisle in a store. It's coming to mind so much that I'm starting to realize there are a lot of types of fruit. There are too many, in fact, right? If I really think about it. And so I need to narrow things down for the work that I'm pulling together, at least by way of this example, right? And so back to my outline. I'm going to go back to my outline. Number 1, I'm good. But number 2, under fruit, I'm going to now label some different fruits that I want to include within my work. I'm going to narrow that down. And you see that now as a part of number 2 of my outline. And for 3 and 4, I'll just leave those alone for now. I'll come back to that later. But I'm feeling better, like I'm getting out of this writer's block funk already. Now I'm going to ask AI for some help, specifically ChatGPT. And by way of AI, I'm going to say, hey, how do I describe an apple? I'll just keep it simple, keep it basic. Again, AI scrolls up by way of ChatGPT to give me some ideas. And in my book, again, I'll use my own language. I want to be unique. I'm not typing in verbatim what that response was by way of ChatGPT or whatever AI tool. But it made me realize fruit has texture. How about that? Something came to mind. Back to my outline. Number 1 is good. I'm good with that for now. Number 2 is good. But now I can further update things. And number 3 in my layout, I'm going to say, I want this to be a pop-up book. And I want my fruit to be like it's textured. And with resources, I need to find someone to help me. That's for sure. I'm going to update my notes further within this spiral notebook by creating a sketch. Just something, again, to jar memory on things, right? And with this sketch, I'm going to draw my little book pages flat, a little piece of fruit as an example, like a pineapple. And I'm going to make note, I need an incredible illustrator to pull this off. And I want this to feel like real fruit. When my kids are touching the pop-up fruit in the book, I want it to feel like it's actually that piece of fruit. Let me go then back to my outline and update it further. Number 1 is good. Number 2 is good. Number 3 is good. But under 4, I can now, for resources put, I'll need an illustrator and a pop-up book creator or a publisher that can take on this challenge and pull it together by way of a pop-up book the way I want. And now I'll leave it. Remember, that was a suggestion too, to overcome writer's block. But my goals achieved. Writer's block techniques help me. And guess what? Look at this. Yes, yes, yes. Writer's block is out of my way. It has been pushed out of my way, and I'm no longer in that stuck place. I can press on. I can move my work forward, and I can look to complete my manuscript. So that was just to give you some idea on how to use some of the techniques. I didn't step through all 5, but some of the different techniques by using an outline, by changing my scenery. Remember, that was another one. And sometimes just leaving it. Sometimes that's what we have to do, because again, if our brains are clogged and we can't press on because we're thinking of world events or everyday happenings in our lives, and we can't press that manuscript forward, then of course we can be stuck. And so again, I truly hope that these 5 techniques and ideas will work for all of you and be beneficial to you, where you can move your work forward. Now, before I let you all go, there are 2 more things that I want to step through really quick. The first one that I want to step through is to ask that all of you go back and take a look at my past video. In fact, this was last month's live stream, and it was entitled Book Publishing: How to Develop a Manuscript. And right here across the screen, you see the different QR code that's shown here. I shouldn't say different, but the QR code in general that's shown here, that will take you directly over to the Ellacec Publishing YouTube channel once you scan it. And at the channel, check out Book Publishing: How to Develop a Manuscript when you get a moment. If you've not watched it already, or if you watched it, rewatch it again if your heart desires to do so, or definitely share it, please. And if you get stuck, guess what? Now you can come to this particular video and play it to get out of that tight writer's block situation, again, to move your work on, complete your manuscript, get it to a place where it's in the hands of your reader. It's in the hands of your target audience. And now, before I completely close, I do want to thank all of you again that have been right here with me during this live stream. And I want to thank those of you that will watch this later out there on YouTube or out there on Facebook. I appreciate your support, and thank you for the feedback that you have been providing me between last month and this current month. I appreciate that as well. And again, I truly hope that this has been beneficial to you. Please go to the ellacecpublishing.com website. And while you're at the website, toward the very top, you will see a Contact Us button to press. Press that button and let me know. It's a really short form. Any type of feedback, any type of input, any type of topic suggestions that you may want me to use moving forward to talk about here during Ellacec Publishing Live, so that I can make sure for sure and for certain that I am assisting all of you as best I can. With that said, please hang on just about 2 more minutes. I want to play a last video for all of you, and it's going to give you a heads up. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait. It's going to give you a heads up on what I'm going to talk about during the month of June. And trust me, you won't want to miss that particular live stream for sure. I hope everyone has an amazing day today. And again, hang on. Check out this video on what's coming up next on Ellacec Publishing Live in June. I'll look forward to seeing all of you then. Bye-bye for now. Hello, this is author Teresa Banks. Ellacec Publishing Live broadcasts on the third Sundays of every month from 3 o'clock p.m. until 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Like the Ellacec Publishing Facebook page, and like and subscribe the Ellacec Publishing YouTube channel. Coming up on June the 15th, the topic will be book publishing, fictional characters. And I look forward to dressing up as a fictional character when I deliver the show the entire time. Please go to the Ellacec Publishing website where you can purchase copies of my books, my t-shirts, jewelry that I've crafted, and a video ad. You can also register for virtual classes that I teach. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing all of you on June 15th at 3 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time sharp.